So I'm going to show you guys how to make aliases. Basically, your bot can accept aliases and not only the command stated there, like I said in the last video. So basically, in 4 const files of command file statement, just add this, and then that will basically be it. So basically, if there's a command aliases and the alias length is greater than 0, because we don't want an alias that's like non-existent, um, we can set the alias and the command, because command is the one that's being executed. Okay, so basically now that's all you need to do for aliases, and we can go to our other commands like remove slow mode remove slow mode, and then we can do aliases, and we can open this and do RSM, and then we can put comma. And now let's try this. No dot. We can go on our Discord now. We can do slow mode 5. Slow mode has been set to 5 seconds. And if you do RSM, slow mode has been removed. And then to prove that it will still work, if I do remove slow mode 5, and we'll do remove slow mode. Let's see both options work. Okay, so now that was the first part of the video. Okay, that was the first part of the video. Now I'm going to show you guys how to make a mute command. So first, the mute command is basically a command that will restrict the user from talking. For that, first we need to make a file in a command handler called mute.js. Then we can define Discord. We can define ms because we're going to set a mute for a certain time. So ms will be used here. And now we can export this file. Name is mute. Usage is mute. Mention. And then time. And then the description is to mute people. Asynchronous, execute the command. Execute the file. Okay. And now we're gonna check for permissions. If message.member.has permission, mute underscore members, or you can change this to, we can do manage messages, because mute is kind of complicated because it's not really a Discord thing. It's a thing that people created by themselves. Now I'm going to check the permissions in the server. If message.guild.me.has permission, manage underscore roles, return message.reply, I do not have permissions. Now we can define member equals message.mentions.members first, and if there is nobody mentioned, then we have to return, because where are we going to mute? Return message.reply, please mention a user to mute. And then we can do time, because we're going to mute for a certain time. R is 1, and then we close this, because we can't mute for we can't really mute for 3.5. I mean, I guess we could, but in my opinion, it would make more sense to mute whole numbers. But if you want, you can try to move this. And now we're gonna define muted role. Let role equals our message dot guild dot roles dot cache dot get, and then our role ID. So now we go on Discord. Now we go here, settings, and roles, and then we can go on the muted role. This is a muted role. Copy the ID of this. If you want to know how to copy IDs, go on your settings. Then you can do appearance, and then you can do developer mode. That way you can you have the ability to get IDs of things. So now we have the role ID. Now we're gonna go to Visual Studio Code, and define that. And then if there is no role, then we want to return. If if the person who already has a muted role, then we don't want to give it to them again, because then that would just cause issues. A mentioned member has been already muted. Now we close this off, and then now we're actually going to come to the muting part. If there is no time, then we need to assume that the person is muting the mentioned member for permanently or until further notice. Role.id, and now we need catch for any errors. And then now we make a .then statement to send a message back in the channel. Member.user.tag has been muted. Now we can bold this up. And then that's our first part done. Now this is gonna get a little bit more complicated, but it should be fine. We can do await mention member dot roles dot add mute role role dot id catch error console dot log error. And then we can do another .then statement. Message.channel.send member.user.tag has been muted. And we can bold this up. It's basically the same as that, but now there's the part that's we have to add. We have to just set timeout, because we're muting them for a certain amount of time. We're not muting them forever. So asynchronous function that we can do, open this up, and now we can do await member dot roles dot remove role dot id, and if there's any errors we need to catch that. Console dot log error. And then we're gonna do ms time, and now we stop the bot. That's basically our mute command right there. Make sure to download ms here, npm I ms, because if you don't have the package in, then you can't really use it. Now we go on Discord to test the command out. We'll do mute let's say Mateo, let's say Spud, Demon Spud. 10 minutes. Okay, let's see. Oh, we have to start a bot up first. No dot, copies ID, mute, 10 minutes. Demon Spud has been muted, and then he has a mute role. If you try to mute him again, then we can't mute him because he already has a muted role. Now we have to unmute him. We're gonna make the unmute command next. Now we go back on our Visual Studio Code, and now we make a new file called unmute.js. This one is pretty simple because we don't have to deal with them. We don't have to deal with time and stuff. So we can just define Discord up here. And now we do module.export name unmute usage unmute mention, and then description is to unmute mention user, and then asynchronous execute it, message args client. Now we can check for permissions again. We can just copy that from our mute command, or you can write it out if you want. We can just copy these 3 lines from our mute command, and we can just change it up a little bit. Unmute. We can do that. And now, and after that, we want to define role again, the role that we're gonna use. Constant role equals, we can just get that from V2. Let role equals, and then the role that we're gonna take away, because it's gonna be the same role. And then let it go back here. And now we're gonna make a return if there is no role. Return. And then after that, if we want to check if the person does not have the mute role, then we can't really unmute them. Role.id return message.reply mentioned user isn't muted. And now we can just do member.roles.remove role.id.catch if there's an error here. And now we can make it send a message in the channel. Message.channel.send. Open our codes here. Tilde keys. Member.user.tag has been unmuted. And now we can bold this up. And now we end that. And now we can restart our bot. Control+C to stop the bot, and then node dot or node index.js. Now we can do unmute at Spud. Spud has been unmuted. And now make a mute and unmute command. So if you guys want, you can check the Discord server in the description. And if you guys want to install Visual Studio Code or Node, that will also be in the description.